you're doing this Sunday night, but I'm talking about Facebook remarketing. Hooray! I wanted to record this little vid for you so you understand the concept of when and why you remarket, because it seems to be this kind of popular term that gets bandied around in digital marketing a little bit, but no one really knows what it means. So I'm going to talk to you about what it actually means. There's a couple of different reasons that you would end up remarketing to somebody. Number one, you may have sent them to a landing page on your website about something, so something in particular. Number two, you may have kept them in Facebook and asked them to give you, back here on this landing page, usually you're asking them to give you your name, email address and phone number somehow, so an opt-in. Or you might have kept them in Facebook and you've created some sort of opt-in in Facebook. There's no continuity with my capitals or lower cases. I hope you're okay with that. The number three way is that you may have the number three way. That's brilliant. Is that they might be in your CRM. So you've sent them some sort of email and you're asking them to take some sort of action. So at all of these points, we're getting them to take action, right? Actiony action right there. So now, Facebook pixel. I'm not going to even try and explain to you what a Facebook pixel is. If you don't know that, go and Google it. If you've got the Facebook pixel set up and you've got it, the code in your website, then happy days, because you can now remarket to anybody that landed on this page. And what we call these are website custom audiences. So let's just give you an example here. I have sent my highly qualified ideal lead who has downloaded my how do I write the right messages for my clients PDF or something like that, and here they are, they've landed on this page and they have looked at my information and said, no, I don't think I'm going to opt in for that. It's not very convincing sales copy, so I'm not going to opt in for it. I can then put an ad up in Facebook based on using the URL of this page, so I can create a very specific website custom audience. So you want to go into the audiences section of your Facebook ads manager, and I can create a URL based, a website custom audience based around that very specific URL and say, anyone who landed on this page and didn't do what I asked them to do, please tell them to go and do that. So I'll create an ad around that and say, hey, I noticed the other day that you went here, but you didn't do what I said, go and do it, in much more convincing copy. So that's what that's called, a website custom audience. So you can do it based on URLs and actions, right? Here, if you're going to stay in Facebook, this scenario of advertising is when you don't actually need a URL or your website in any way. So you might be using a Facebook lead ad, you might be doing a video view campaign. They're all really good ways to gather hits basically on your ad from your highly qualified ideal clients, as long as you're doing your audience targeting correctly. And so in this situation, you would create an ad, or an audience rather, out of anybody who watched that video. Usually you want to do it from, say, over 30 seconds in a video view campaign because it means they're actually engaged in it, or anyone who touched on that lead form, or anyone that did something or other else that you've asked them to do. So that you can basically create an audience based on that. So a custom audience based on, so it could be the video view video view watchers or lead ad or whatever. It's, they're named appropriately. So there's some remarketing back to that point. So it all depends on what you've actually asked them to do, of course, and what you would put in that ad as far as copy goes. But that's another audience you can create in retargeting. And then, of course, there's the ones where they are your clients that are already in, or leads that are already in your CRM. So they've given you their name and email address, and somehow they've ended up in your database, and you've sent them out an email that has asked them to take a specific action. There's actually a way of creating an audience out of anyone that has clicked on certain links in your emails, and there's also a way, because you might push them through to, say, a URL, or people that receive that email you can actually create a custom audience out of that. So you can create using a program called Fix Your Funnel, or can't think of it off the top of my head now, I'm going to come back to it. There's a couple of programs where you can create audience buckets of anyone that's in your database, basically, whatever actions, you can create those audience buckets in Facebook in the back end as an audience bucket and say anybody who did do this or didn't do that and clicked on this or clicked on that in my CRM, now send them this ad. So you can take them over to Facebook and retarget based on actions that they did or didn't take in your CRM, which is pretty clever. So there's a couple of different apps that you can use for that, but you can Google that. Plus this, that's the other one I'm thinking of. So there's a couple there that you can use for that. So I'll just write them up there for you. Plus this and Fix Your Funnel are two that I've worked with that work really well. You'll need somebody clever and techie to kind of set that stuff up for you if you're not that way inclined, but another really good way of using Facebook retargeting. The other thing that I also want to say is that if you do you've got this other version of the world where somebody has organically ended up on your website and you notice that all of a sudden in your, or say if you went to somebody's website in your news feed for the next couple of days, you see their ad. That is probably what people really call retargeting, and it's not a very customer journey specific way of getting people to take action, but it's definitely something that's good to have there as a fail safe. So if anyone has followed one of your blogs or something like that and ended up on your website, you can position ads in front of those people too. So there's a way of creating, back to here though, it's the same thing, right? It's a website custom audience, but you would make a website custom audience of people that were at your website in the last one day. So you can actually change the parameters in the custom audiences for how many days later you want to send them the ad based on the action that they took. So there'll be some explainer videos, I'm sure, on the internet. Now you know the terminology, website custom audience or a custom audience based around video views or leads, and also a way of using apps like Plus This and Fix Your Funnel to target people that have taken certain actions in your CRM. I hope that's been helpful for you, and hit us up if we can help you in any other way.